Hello there and welcome to another Evercade related type video thing here on my channel. Now I have been a proud owner of the Super Pocket for over a year now and it has been fantastic and I have enjoyed it, but I think it's about time that I upgraded to Evercade's more premium gaming handheld, the EXP-R. Now this is the new solo edition that they've recently released, which now comes without any cartridges included, like the Tomb Raider and Duke Nukem bundles did. But as you can see here, some retailers such as Amazon and Funstock will still offer a bundle. In this case, I got Taito Arcade 1, and we will come back to that in a moment. The main visual change to this particular model is the new retro colour scheme that is very reminiscent of the Nintendo Entertainment System, and it harks back to the original 2020 Evercade handheld. This newer model also has fixed some of the problems with overheating and screen bleed that the earlier models had. So, what's in the box? Well, upon removing the nice slidey cover and opening up the box itself, you'll find a quick start guide. We'll find the handheld itself, that's the important bit, and a USB-C charging cable. Notice there's no plug to go with it, which seems to be the norm these days with electrical products. I don't know if that's a way of keeping the costs down or anything. But anyway, the design remains virtually identical to previous models of the EXP and EXP-R. The D-pad and buttons have got the same layout. I have to say the D-pad feels very nice to use, which is always important. Straight away it feels a lot nicer than the D-pad on the Super Pocket, and that was admittedly a nice D-pad, but this one just seems to be even better. You've got your power button, your shoulder buttons, cartridge slot on the back. The initial setup for the device requires connecting to Wi-Fi and running through a few system updates. If your Wi-Fi isn't detected initially, you can always skip this and set it up later. This is one of the key differences between the EXP-R and the Super Pocket. Having that facility where you can connect it to your Wi-Fi brings some additional features, such as this, the highlight of the month, which is a free monthly demo of an existing game available on one of the Evercade cartridges. In this case, we're getting Flea from the Indie Heroes collection, which is a cartridge that is definitely on my wish list, especially considering that it's going to be a legacy cart soon. Now what that means is when a cart becomes a legacy cart, not only does the price of it go up because it becomes more harder to get hold of, but the reason why it becomes harder to get hold of is because no more copies of the cartridge will be made due to a license running out for some, or in some cases all of the games. If it looks like a cart is going to become legacy soon, and Evercade normally do announce this, then do go out there and get it as soon as you can, because some of the carts that have become legacy carts, such as the ones for the Oliver Twins, which feature a load of Dizzy games. Dizzy was a series that I played on quite a lot when I was a kid on the Commodore 64, and the Codemasters collection, they've got up to stupid amounts of money, and unless you're willing to pay that amount of money, or unless they get more stock, you know, they renew the license, there's not going to be much chance of you going to be able to play these, unfortunately. Anyway, that's not all. There's also some hidden games on this handheld, 11 in total, and there's different ways of finding the various games. Now, I will give you an example of how to find one. If you go into the secrets menu and enter the word stone, this will unlock a Commodore 64 game called Rogue 64. This is a dungeon crawler game that is the predecessor to the excellent Amiga game Rogue Craft DX, which has recently been released as its own separate cartridge. The fact that Commodore 64 and Amiga games are still being developed today just absolutely blows my mind, quite frankly. The game library menu is also where you can browse through over 600 games that are available across more than 60 cartridges, with exciting new releases coming, which include collections from the likes of Rare, Activision, Llamasoft, again another favourite from the Commodore 64, and even Neo Geo. I already have the first Neo Geo arcade collection, which I'll be planning on reviewing here on the channel very soon. Display options include original ratio, pixel perfect and full screen modes. You can also toggle scan lines, bezels and various other visual enhancements. Like with the Super Pocket, you can also save your game. But here you will get 6 save states per game on the EXP-R, as opposed to the Super Pocket's 4 save states. although some of the larger games on other collections will still only have 4 save states due to memory limitations. There is also a quick save functionality here as well, which the Super Pocket also lacks. Now, this particular model has had several improvements made from previous models which suffered from light bleeding at the bottom of the screen. This version shows a significant improvement on this. It also has a better battery life. You can expect 4 hours or more of gameplay, with battery performance improving over time with proper charging habits, and also the heating issues from earlier models have also been resolved as well. Now, unfortunately, this version no longer has the built-in Capcom titles that the earlier models of the handheld had, the EXP. If you still want to get hold of this version, it will likely cost you more money, as it's harder to get hold of now, and you've got to bear in mind that older models will come with those older issues that I mentioned earlier that newer models like this have been able to address. So because of that, I will still be keeping that Capcom edition Super Pocket for shorter journeys. So I tested a number of cartridges on this. First of all, I tested the Taito Arcade 1, which came with this. That contains a number of games that were previously exclusive to the Taito edition of the Super Pocket. I'm very happy with the Capcom edition of the Super Pocket that I've got, but I would sort of look over and see that what the Taito version had and thought, oh, that's quite good as well. But now they've started doing these Taito games on cartridges, which is fantastic. I don't know if Capcom are planning on having cartridges as well. It seems to be that Capcom only wants to have it where you've got games already built into the device, like with the Super Pocket, like with the Evercade Alpha, the bar top sort of arcade models. I don't know if that's down to a licensing issue. I don't know if that's down to an agreement that Capcom's done with Evercade, but it does seem to be that Capcom won't be on cartridges. It will be on machines, on devices itself. But here on Taito Arcade 1, we've got games like Bubble Bobble, The Legend of Kage, and Growl, which showcase the handheld's capabilities very well. The classic arcade experience translates beautifully to the EXP-R, especially when you're using Tate Mode for vertical shooters. Now, if you don't know what Tate Mode is, this is just another advantage that the EXP-R has over the Super Pocket. Tate Mode is a vertical orientation mode that is perfect for playing on arcade games like Space Invaders. It basically emulates the sort of more vertical screen that a lot of arcade games had. This was like a problem with the Capcom edition of the Super Pocket, where you had games like 1942, 1943 and Mercs, which were in that sort of vertical screen sort of ratio, and it would be quite difficult to sort of see what was going on. They could have done with having a Tate Mode in the Super Pocket, but that was not the case there. So in order to enable this, you just simply press the red Tate Mode button. You can switch this just sort of during gameplay if you like. Some of the earlier models of the EXP also did not have this feature, so again, that's something that's worth bearing in mind if you are thinking of buying a second-hand model of a earlier version. Now, the only drawback that I can see with the Tate Mode is that it can become a little uncomfortable during extended play sessions. However, Evercade are now selling an optional Tate grip for about £20, which will make those longer gaming sessions in this mode much more comfortable. I also went back to the Data East Arcade 1 collection that I reviewed previously here on the channel. Now, during that review, I mentioned that playing games like Burger Time could get a little difficult at times on the Super Pocket's small screen. Well, that isn't a problem here. Thanks to the EXP-R not only having a larger screen than the Super Pocket to begin with, you also have that Tate Mode option, and I found that I had a much easier time playing Burger Time and other similar titles like this. Even though my gameplay efforts here might not show that. Seriously, it is difficult trying to play this while you're recording at the same time. I'm viewing this while I'm viewing it through the camera, so yeah, doing it across 2 screens isn't always easy. Also, I'm pleased to say that the slowdown issues that occurred on Sly Spy when playing it on the Super Pocket does not become an issue when you're playing it here on the EXP-R, which I'm very happy about. So, should you buy this? Well, the Super Pocket still remains the cheapest entry point into the Evercade system. It's only £49 or about $59, whichever it works. You'll already have a number of classic games already built into the handheld without even needing to purchase an Evercade cartridge. However, whilst the Super Pocket devices are cheaper and come with built-in games already, the EXP-R offers complete compatibility with the entire Evercade library. Apparently some Evercade cartridges don't work on the Super Pockets. Not only that, but you have more options, you have more features, you have the hidden games, you have the game of the month, you have a bigger screen, and it has that essential Tate Mode functionality as well. If you are someone that already owns one of the previous EXP or EXP-R models, this isn't really a necessary upgrade. The improvements are certainly welcome though. Of course, if you are a collector of all things Evercade related, then chances are you've pre-ordered this new version already. Overall, the EXP-R Solo Edition is a solid handheld that's been refined over several different iterations. This is like the best version to get now. The retro aesthetic is appealing, build quality is good, and the game library continues to grow with exciting upcoming releases. It represents the best way to experience Evercade's extensive retro gaming collection, although, as mentioned before, I will still be keeping hold of my Super Pocket as well. Anyway, thanks for watching this video and happy retro gaming to you. If you have enjoyed this unboxing / review / rambling session from me, then please do leave a like and a comment and check out some of my other videos. Check out my video on the Super Pocket itself, check out my video where I reviewed all the Capcom games that were on the Capcom edition of the Super Pocket, and check out my review of Data East Arcade 1. I'm going to be popping all of my Evercade related videos into a playlist on my channel, so take a look at that as I will be adding more videos to it very soon. Please could you also consider sharing this video across your social media platforms, especially with those who are interested in retro gaming and the Evercade community. Finally, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and do ring that notification bell in order to see future videos just like this one. In conclusion, thank you very much for visiting the Big Daddy D Reviews channel, and we'll catch you again next time. Until then, bye for now.